Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Quynh Mi and I teach prenatal at YYOGA. So today I'd like to share with you my favorite pose. We do this a lot in my classes, and it's the one pose that I think if you have no time to do any other pose in a day, that you take Malasana, squat position. So let's talk about how to set it up. Your feet generally are wider, and for some people that could be almost as wide as your mat. It's definitely wider than hip distance apart. And if you can work with the feet parallel, that's optimal for pelvic floor alignment. I will say for most people, the toes naturally turn out. Mine turn out a little bit. And for a lot of people, the heels are up as well. So if you have your heels flat on the floor, keep them flat on the floor. If you've got a gap, slide chip foam blocks underneath like I have. And if you don't have blocks at home, you can roll up your mat a little bit to create a little bit of a lift. You can roll up a towel, just something that your heels can rest on top of. So we're gonna be here a while. And so why is this pose so amazing? This pose is amazing because the pelvis is 30% more open in this position than in any other position. This is a popular position in other countries. So in some countries, the 8-hour workday is spent here, selling stuff on the streets, offering fruit, cutting up, making soup. We've seen this. In North America, we're sitting in chairs and our hips get tight. So this helps open the hips up. What else is this a great position for? It's a great position for things coming out. Here we sit in toilets. In a lot of other places, they're squatting. So we're opening up the pelvis. So our disadvantage is that sometimes the hips get tighter. So I'd like you to begin building up the stamina in this position. And I say begin building it up, because if you don't regularly squat, it's not time to decide to set that, yep, this is your 30-minute squat. But you start gradually building it up so that by the end of your 9 months, you feel confident and comfortable and thinking that, yeah, this is a position I can birth in. So what do you do when you're here in squat? Well, first of all, if it's your first time in squat or you're newer to it, you're gonna keep it within a few minutes. But then I'd also like you to work on releasing the pelvic floor. So we hear a lot in movement modalities and just society in general about lifting the pelvic floor, engaging, lifting. We're doing all this tightening up. But when you need to push something out, and we're gonna be doing that, then you need to be able to release the pelvic floor. So I'd never heard the term release the pelvic floor until I attended prenatal yoga training. And I realized I don't have this in my arsenal of tools. I would like you to have this in your arsenal of tools. So how do you practice? This is what it looks like. Big inhale. If you're like, wait a minute, okay, I clicked on the wrong video. These are not vocal exercises. It's not about the vocalizing. You can release the pelvic floor without doing the horse lips. But what I would like you to be able to find is that relaxation. So there is no way that you can blow out while gathering in. So what this does is we are fluttering and moistening these lips as we are fluttering and moistening these lips. So you're doing the same thing there. So you're gonna take an inhale and release. One more, and then pay attention to what muscles are engaging or disengaging. Inhale. So those are the horse lips. So if you're in a regular yoga class and you're like, yeah, they're doing something different, maybe you come into Malasana, maybe you hang out Malasana. Now if you need to, you can always put a pillow or a bolster underneath. You could choose something different that opens up the hips. Butterfly is another possibility. That's where you're seated and the soles of your feet are in together. So finding what's most nourishing for you. So while we're here in Malasana, I'd like to finish up with a set of Bhramari breath. Bhramari breath is bee's breath. And this is a nice way to cocoon your baby with a nice vibration and also to calm yourself down. So in nature, animals calm themselves down by humming, by making sounds. We've been taught to be quiet. So what I would like you to do is to find your voice. Your voice comes from making these horse lips. Your voice comes from connecting to what is true to you and from literally making sound. Bhramari breath, it sounds like the Om sound that we know in yoga, except without the O. So you're like a bee humming. So here we go. If Feel how much buzz you have in your face, feel how much buzz you have in your bones, and that is Bhramari breath. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoy Malasana as well and that you get more comfortable in this pose. My name is Quynh and I'm a teacher at YYOGA.